Hello once again, YouTube. Chris the Nightbringer here, bringing you some StarMade action, and it has been a long time since I posted a video to my YouTube channel, about 4 years. A lot of things have changed, a lot of things have happened since then, and as you can see, I'm sitting on a slightly modified TIE Fighter. I clipped the wings so that you could see better while I fly it around, because I'm going to be showing you some stuff today in StarMade. There's going to be two elements to this video, I suppose. There's going to be an element where I talk about what's going on in the last few years, and then there's going to be an element that covers a particular Star Destroyer that I'm going to show off. And we'll get to that in a bit. If you came here for the Star Destroyer and you just want to see that part, scroll through the video, find it, and enjoy that element of the video, because I will be showing that off. I'm probably going to be posting this to like Reddit in a few places, so if anybody's interested in that, it's going to be in the later half of the video. But I wanted to talk about where I've been, what I've been doing, a little bit, not too much. There's actually too much for me to even get into, so I don't know. I've already been talking for a minute, so let's get into it. Yeah, so I obviously haven't played StarMade much in the last 4 years, here and there, and one of the things that changed in the last 4 years is I got a better computer. With a better computer, I decided to check out some StarMade builds of mine, see if any of them improved over the course of the last 4 years in terms of performance, because I built big ships and I imported some big ships, and, well, I couldn't really render all of those big ships at the same time, all of it at once, before. But now, I might be able to. I currently have a GeForce 1080 graphics card, liquid cooled, and I believe an Intel i7 processor. I don't know if those are the real words for the things that are in my computer right now, and frankly I should probably know more about my computer, but I buy my computers from my friend who always sells me his when he upgrades and buys his own new computer, and he sells me his old one. So that's why I have no real knowledge of the internals of my PC, which is a little sad, but maybe I'll freshen up and fix that in the future. Regardless, I jumped into StarMade, and I want to show you something. The last time I made a big video in StarMade, I was showing off an EVE Online ship showcase for this ship right here. This is the Caldari Chimera, and if you don't remember, I'll tell you what happened during that video. I had to show off this ship in sections without showing the entire thing on my screen for more than a few seconds because the frame rate got so bad. And here, I am flying by it with no issues whatsoever, with the entire thing loaded on my screen at once. And I'm currently getting 50 frames a second or so flying around this thing. I'm pretty sure I was getting like 12 frames a second when I showed this thing off last time, when I showed off the entire ship. And even when I was showing off only sections of it, it was not really more than 30 frames a second. So as you can see, the performance on my PC has substantially improved. And this kind of segues into what I want to talk about for a little bit, because I feel like this is one of the few games that really lets you enjoy the scale of spaceships like this. And I'm going to show you that again when we take a look at a full Imperial 1 class Star Destroyer, and we're going to have the same results. I'm going to be able to show you the entire thing on my screen with no lag. Now, for those people that aren't aware of what StarMade is, and I don't know how many of those people will be watching, because who just randomly clicks on a YouTube video of some random idiot playing a video game, but if you don't know what StarMade is, it was a long time developed game made by a company called Shine, based in Germany, and at the moment it's a little slow. It's not like the game is dead, but it is almost, the progress is almost non-existent. You can't see it unless you look over the course of like months and years. There's just currently no viable way for the developers to work full-time on this. I used to work on this game. It's been years since I've done real work for this game, and maybe a year since I really did anything for the game at all. I did do a few of the official builds on the side in my free time, but that's where the game is at right now. And this entire ship is made out of blocks. This particular ship is made out of 2.6 million blocks. That's a lot of blocks. And obviously I'm not rendering them all at the same time. But this is the thing. There are a lot of popular ship building games out there that take place in space. Space Engineers, Starbase, Sky Wanderers, or should I say Starship EVO. I'm not sure why their name changed, but I think it's going by Starship EVO now instead of Sky Wanderers. All three of these games, they look impressive. And in the case of Space Engineers, they're actually relatively successful. But in my opinion, it's just not enough. I suppose it's not a building game, but you could also throw in Star Citizen. It just doesn't meet my expectations for what I want out of a game that promises like a huge open world and you can do whatever you want and you can fly any sort of spaceship you want. Particularly with the building games, they're like, hey, you can design your spaceship however you want, and it's really fun to play, and you can build anything from a little fighter jet to a capital ship. Well, let me tell you, according to EVE Online, this is the size of a capital ship. This is how big a capital ship should be. This is a carrier. I mean, if I zoom out a little bit with my TIE Fighter, it's like, can you even see the TIE Fighter against the side of this thing? It's humongous. This ship is 2.7 kilometers long. How many video games have you played where you can get into a spaceship that is 2.7 kilometers long? Now, you might be wondering, if you've never played StarMade before, how can I prove that this is a spaceship? So let me jump into it. This is the ship core. This is an imported model, and of course, it is empty. I understand that. But there is nothing preventing a player from taking this ship hull, filling with systems, and flying it around, and using it as a base. And even if they only included like one hallway that extended from here to the exterior, they could fly this ship around. They could fill it with weapons, they could fill it with engines and shields, and they could, if I can start moving it, fly this thing around. And it's not really gonna do what I want because it's such a big ship. There we go. Look, it's rotating, and now it stopped. It slows down too much, and then it stops automatically because it's not rotating quick enough, so the same thing would happen if I was thrusting under a meter per second. But just look at that. That's a 3-kilometer long spaceship. It's moving around on my screen. It's made out of 2.6 million blocks or something like that, and I can show that to you by jumping into the build menu. You look up here. Oh, it's not 2.6 million. It's 6.2 million. And it's not 6.7 million. I think that's what I said. I could be wrong. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. But look at that. 6.2 million blocks. Now, this is an imported hull. It doesn't have any systems on it. But like I said, somebody could come in here and build this thing. And the build systems in StarMade are simple. If I wanted to build chunks and chunks of blocks at a time to fill systems on this ship, I could do it. If I wanted to actually fill a section of the ship, and I could do this, let's say, let's go down here. There's a fill command, right? That's not it, is it? Oh gosh. I don't know what I'm doing because I haven't done this in a while. And this isn't what I planned on doing either. Where is it? Fill tool. There it is. How did I not know that? Alright, we don't want that many. 47 blocks at a time. Place fill origin. We'll go down here. Alright. Fill. There it is. Now I'm starting to fill this without having to press anything. And it's expanding into the empty section of this ship. I'm adding thrusters to this 47 blocks at a time. It's a little slow, and none of them are exposed on the outside, right? Okay, so that's just a little bit, like a tiny fraction of the capacity of the building systems in this game. There's copy-paste, there's mirrors, so that you can reflect your build on either side of your ship. There's build helpers that allow you to draw like lines and circles and toruses and ellipsoid shapes and then fill them with the same tool that I just showed you. You can copy stuff, you can select stuff just by looking at it and, well, I think I have to be closer. There we go. Is that how that works? Maybe not. Am I not in creative mode? I thought I was in creative mode. My bad, guys. No, wait, that was creative mode. Huh, that's so weird. Why can't I select that? There we go. Okay, I guess you just have to be close enough. So you get the block that you want, and then you can start moving it around. You can change how large of a build size you have, so if I want I could make a brush that is 155 meters long. And I could... How many games out of the 3 or 4 that I mentioned have things like this? Space Engineers has some of these systems in, but the problem with Space Engineers, in my opinion, is that they sacrificed scale and creativity for gameplay and engineering. And that's fine because it is Space Engineers, and if that's what you want to do with a video game, where you want to engineer a spaceship, that's fine. Personally, I do not like the fact that I have to have a physical pipe connecting all sorts of machinery in my spaceship just so that my spaceship will fly. That seems a little too much to me. And another thing, the scale kind of sucks, you know? They show off like whole planets in Space Engineers. There's a whole solar system. You can fly around for thousands of kilometers and not run into anything. You know, things are spaced out, but then the spaceships that you actually interact with, they're not nearly the size of this. And I recently saw a video, and I don't want to go too far into this segment without getting into the Star Destroyer part. I recently saw a video from either Last Stand Gamers or what is it, the XP Gamers or something like that. Something like that. They had a Venator Star Destroyer, a full-scale Venator-class Star Destroyer from Star Wars, loaded in to Space Engineers. And here's the thing. In order for them to load that ship in to Space Engineers, they had to split the entire ship into 5 sections, and then they had to import it as a space station so it would not move. That is just, in my opinion, pathetic. Because I'm currently looking at a full-scale Venator-class Star Destroyer and a 2.7 kilometer long carrier from EVE Online sitting on my screen all at the same time. There are at least, what, that was 6.2 million blocks? At least 7 million blocks on my screen right now, right? There's 2.5 million blocks inside this Venator. Now that's not systems, and I know that's not combat. I'm not flying it around, and I'm certainly not, you know, clipping into another ship and then crashing my computer and turning it into a singularity because of the intense, I don't know, meltdown that it would have. But it's like, I didn't have to import this in 5 segments. I didn't have to import this as a space station. If I wanted to, I could equip this with engines, with a power source, and fly it around. If I wanted to, I could get little ships like, let's see. Because I do have it, and I suppose I'll show it to you. I have a miniature LAAT, which may or may not work. Is this it? Yeah? Is this gonna do its thing? Look at this. Now, this isn't the most beautiful version of an LAAT some of you may have seen if you've played these other games. But it is an LAAT. This is full scale. And so is the Star Destroyer, which is somewhere around 1,137 meters. Mine is 1,152 meters for some reason. I can shoot if I want to. It's got the laser beams, which actually, wow, those look pretty good now. I actually did not know how good those looked. Those are pretty sweet laser beams. If I wanted to, I could fly this in here. This model of a Venator Star Destroyer probably isn't accurate. It's probably not accurate in the way I want it to be. But there it is. That's it. That's the Star Destroyer, and I didn't have to do some stupid workaround in order to get it into my game. So now I'm going to show you something. Something that I worked on a while ago. Something that I have not completed or not worked on or I suppose not finished. Is that it? Uh-oh. I think I'm in the wrong sector. I hope not. I don't think that's it. No, it's not. So where is it? Now I have to find it. Uh-oh. Where is it? Oh no. Oh, it's definitely back here, right? Ooh, I'm close. Sorry, I thought I was going to immediately be like inside of what I was trying to get into, and turns out I'm not. There's a Star Destroyer. This is a Vindicator, which means the thing I'm looking for is up there. This is another ship I've worked on in the past, and you know, maybe I'll do videos on these. But what I want to show you right now, just at the end of this video, because I don't want this to go too much longer, not more than 20, 22 or so minutes. This is the bridge of a full-scale Star Destroyer that I was working on, and I'm not sure about the bridge at the moment because it seems a little too large for me. But this is a full-scale Star Destroyer that we're going to be walking on, and it's going to load up because I just moved around sectors quite a bit. But let me jump out of the bridge section and fall down, and of course there's no fall damage, so I won't die. But let's just take a look. Because this is what a lot of people want to do in their video games, and this is like a dream for some people. They want to walk around a full-scale Star Destroyer. And here I am, walking along the surface. We'll see if I can even get to the end of the Star Destroyer in 5 minutes, because I might not be able to. I might have to cheat and fly down there or something. But look, this is a full-scale ship. This is 1,600 meters long. It is a mile-long spaceship in space. I can do whatever I want with this thing. There's a whole bunch of scaffolding and measurements being taken place because I'm doing I was at the time doing a pretty accurate representative build of a Star Destroyer in this game. You can see some other Star Wars ships. There's a Gazanti-class cruiser. Over there I have an Arquidens. In front of it I have a Vindicator-class import that I was taking a look at. So here's the thing. This ship, I believe, has a couple million blocks in it as well at this moment. All of them were placed by me. I did all of this within a pretty reasonable amount of time. It maybe took a month or so of playing this game every now and then throughout the week to get to this point. There are 3 meters of hull armor in terms of thickness. I have 3 meter thick hull armor on the main wedge of the Star Destroyer to give it some beefiness. It's got all of the major structural components, I guess, of the Star Destroyer. The bridge section, the globes on the bridge, and all of the tiers or the terraces leading up to the bridge off of the main wedge of this ship. Right? And then there's a few minor details that I worked on up front that I started to get done. How many games allow you to do this? I'm walking across the surface of a Star Destroyer, and I'll admit, it is a blocky version of it. There's not a lot of detail here right now. I haven't even shown anybody a detailed ship yet in this video. And for those people that are, that have never been exposed to StarMade before, you can see some of that detail up there, and there was a way to zoom. I don't think I can do that without a core. But you can see there's like panel lines, and that actually has some landing gear on it. And there's engines and stuff, and greeblies on the sides of those ships. And maybe before I finish this video, I'll take a look at that, just so you get an idea of what a ship can be in this game. Especially if you've never been exposed to StarMade before, that may be a possibility. I don't know who's going to watch this video. But look, I'm still walking. It's been 3 minutes, basically, 2 minutes, since I started walking on this thing across its hull. I'm kind of going at a pretty decent pace, I suppose, if you're running a 5-minute mile or close to. I suppose it's not a full mile because the bridge isn't all the way at the end. But look, the point is I haven't seen a full-scale Star Destroyer that you can fly around in any other game. And certainly not one that is to scale. Okay, because there are Star Destroyers in other games that you can control. Those are like space simulation games. They're like 4X games. It's like Empire at War or whatever. I don't know any of those games because I've personally never really played them, because that's not what I want out of my video game. I want the full-scale thing. You know, that's why I loved space mode, or the space battles in Battlefront 2, the original Battlefront 2. I suppose the space battles in the more recent Battlefronts are also pretty nice, but you can't get out of your ship and board an enemy ship in those games. There is a mode called Supremacy in Battlefront 2 multiplayer that allows you to board enemy ships during a phase, but you're not flying a ship in there yourself and landing. You're phasing into that part of the ship and doing your objectives. And it's cool, but it's not the same. This is different. And this is what makes me sad about the fact that StarMade really isn't being properly developed anymore, is because the potential of this game is lost. And I'm sure there's plenty of people that would say, including StarMade fans themselves, how this game falls short of expectations. You know, they want to get better gameplay, they want more of a reason to build an empire in space, because there are empires in space. These are NPC factions claiming space in a galaxy filled with thousands of stars. you know? And that's just one galaxy. There's like, mathematically, it's 9 quadrillion galaxies are possible in this game. Of course, nobody would ever need that. Here's some more details that I actually managed to build on this structure before I stopped really working on this. But look, those are not full-scale Star Destroyers, in case you're wondering, because that would be crazy and awesome, and I probably would have pointed that out, but those are miniature models. The thing is I think it's worth showing people what could have been. And what could be, I suppose. It's not like the people developing this game are gone. And it's not even like the company making the game has given up on the game. There was a dev build released for this game a few weeks ago, I think. And here's the thing. It's just... I think I owe it to the Star Wars community and to gamers who are enjoying games like this to see the possibility of a game like this. To actually show off like what is possible. This is the bow of the Star Destroyer. Look at the scale of this thing. It's like the size of a building is how large the bow of the ship is, and it's flying through space, and no wonder the GR-75 transport blew up when Darth Vader's Devastator, Star Destroyer, crashed into it after it jumped out of hyperspace. Like, no wonder. This thing is huge. The GR-75 transport is maybe twice as long as the bow of this thing. Of course this thing tore it into pieces. This is supposed to be a turret emplacement right here, which is why I have it marked with purple so it's easy to identify. And another thing, and you may have already spotted it, that's a full-scale Star Destroyer down there. That's another one. That is the old version, and it's a little bit too big for my taste in terms of certain proportions. It doesn't work the way I wanted it to, so I have a more accurate model that I was working on, but this is also fairly detailed up here, and it just... The plan was to build a full-scale Star Destroyer with everything in it that you could possibly want, and I have 2 of them sitting on my screen inside a voxel-based video game, and I'm getting... I don't know. Let's jump back into this one and see. Because I have other ships here as well, and there's just all sorts of stuff going on, and I mean, I'm not hitching up or anything, there's no lag. I've got 30 frames a second, and I have 2 spaceships on my screen that, with a combined block count of like 12 million blocks. At least. I don't think that's not worth anything. I don't think this game is worth nothing. I think that is worth, you know, exploring and seeing if it's worth playing, seeing if it's worth building stuff like this, because nobody else has done it before. And why wouldn't I want to fly around in a full-scale Star Destroyer in a video game? That was what I was intending when I first made this ship. And it's not done. It's entirely hollow on the inside. You can see right through it. But I was making progress, and I just wanted to show this off because, you know, things changed, and I noticed that I could play the video game with these large-scale ships. And if I can do it, then other people can do it. And I'm hoping somewhere down the line, maybe something like this brought StarMade back. Like, to where it was and beyond. That'd be great. I think that would be amazing. So, I just wanted to show this off. I just wanted to give you my thoughts on this. If you want, I can make more videos covering what I planned on doing with this. I don't know if I'll make videos actually progressing the build, because that's time-consuming and, well, everybody's got things to do. So, let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time.